Welcome back to the show. I'm Shannon Skinner, and I'm joined by Tonia Ciancuilli, who is the founder and executive director of Wish Opera, a not-for-profit organization that creates a modern vision of opera by infusing the existing beauty of operatic sound with contemporary fashion design. She's based in Toronto. And of course, later in the segment, before we take a break, I'll have my regular Good to Know Minute when I ask my guests for their top tip on creating a successful life. You'll hear Tonia's. Tonia, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. You look so lovely in red.
Thank you. My favorite color.
It matches the red on your website.
Oh, yes, it does.
Now, of course, you're an opera singer. And I am just so grateful to have you on the show because I've always wanted to meet an opera singer.
Oh.
I love opera. I listen to it all the time. And I have not met an opera singer in the past. So for me, I was so excited to have you on the show.
We're just like everybody else.
With an incredible voice.
Well, yeah.
Instrument. What was your dream? Now, I know you're an opera singer, but have you always dreamt of being an opera singer?
As a young child, I wanted to be a singer. I think that I wanted to sing more, popular music when I was younger, whatever, I was into when I was a teenager. And I remember very clearly going over to my uncle's house downtown Toronto one day with my family, and I said, I have to sing my piece for you that I've been working on at school. And he heard me sing, and he said, you shouldn't be singing pop. He said, you have a voice for classical music, and you should take classical voice lessons. So that's kind of where the journey embarked. I would say I was about 15 years old.
15 years old. Mm. And your uncle was very instrumental.
Yes, yes, absolutely. He had a really incredible passion for opera. And was very well educated in opera, and so he, really nurtured that passion in me. And once he discovered that talent in me, I would go over there countless times, and I would sing arias for him and sing them over and over and over again. And he would say, okay, this is what this character is experiencing at this moment, and that needs to come through in your voice, and you need to hear the tears in your voice, and that type of thing. So it was pretty incredible relationship that we had.
Now, you must have an incredible voice, I would imagine, all these years of training and performance. And can you shatter a glass?
Oh, no.
Is that a misconception? Can opera singers actually really shatter glass?
You know what? I read a biography on Maria Callas, who's like my favorite ultimate diva. And there's a chapter in there where it talks about that she got so infuriated at one point that she actually shattered a glass. So
it is possible.
I think it's possible. I've never tried myself.
So how did you actually get you started performing then?
I started taking classical voice lessons once this kind of talent was discovered, and then I applied to get into a school of performing arts called Mayfield Secondary School of Performing Arts, which is just north of Brampton. And that was a huge kind of kickoff for me, because I was, at this high school where everything revolved around the arts, music, art, dance. And so that really helped nurture that in me.
What do you love about performing opera?
It's a really scary feeling. I know before I step onto a stage or before I'm going to sing for anyone, I'm standing there thinking, why am I doing this? But once you get on stage and you start performing, this feeling comes over you that you forget all about the nerves and you just exist in the moment, and the music washes over you and you just are so present with the music, and it's a really incredible feeling. And once it's over, it's such a huge rush, and you really feel grateful that you've got that talent and that you can evoke certain emotions in people.
Now I have to ask you this question. What is your very favorite opera?
I would have to say the opera Tosca by Puccini. Yeah.
Why is that?
I think, you know, that's a recording that my uncle and I used to listen to a lot, and that was his favorite, and so I think it just, you know, naturally rubbed off on me. And I would have to say my all-time favorite singer performing that role was Maria Callas, and it just, you know, every time I hear her aria, it just, I break down in tears. It's really moving.
There's something very, very moving, and it's a very spiritual experience for many people.
It is. Yeah.
You know, what is it about it that touches our hearts and our heartstrings and really evokes that emotion, especially when so many people can't even understand what the what singers are singing.
You really don't need to understand what they're saying. You really can feel it coming from them. And I think that it is so emotional because the voice is such, it's your body, it's such a vulnerable, you put yourself in such a vulnerable state to open up, you're sharing your soul, really. It's different, I think, than playing an instrument because it's something physical that you're playing, but the voice, it's so raw and natural and vulnerable.
So would you say that you model yourself after Maria Callas?
I definitely think of her a lot when I sing because I just really respect her. I respect the artistry and musicianship that she had, and you know, I had listened to many interviews with her and read lots of biographies on her, and she just was very very passionate and true to the emotion of the music, and yeah, she's just she was an incredible talent that not necessarily had the most perfect voice. A lot of people say that about her, but technically she could do anything, and emotionally she could make you feel, you know, incredible.
To really take you to places.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of taking you to places, now you've started a really interesting organization here called Wish Opera.
Yes.
Which is what we're here to talk about today. And tell us a little bit about what Wish Opera is.
Wish Opera, I think, was really born out of my passion for the arts, not just opera, but I've always been a big advocate of supporting people that are artists and trying to, you know, establish themselves and get their art out there to be recognized. And so I've done a lot of events over the years with this type of fusion aspect of just bringing together all these art forms. And so obviously I'm passionate about opera, and after I had my children, they're still very young, but you get that urge right away, like, what am I going to do next? And I need that aspect in my life, like the opera and the arts. And so Wish Opera was really born out of this fusion of the arts and wanting to have other people recognize that opera can be for anyone, and that really bringing opera to a larger audience and making a more accessible art form, and that people can watch it and relate to it with the certain aspects that we infuse it with, the fashion, the design, the art, all of that.
So is there anything else out there like it?
I mean, I think so. I believe so. I know in Toronto there's the Canadian Opera Company, there's Opera Atelier, which are absolutely phenomenal companies. I think our company is a little bit more niche as far as really featuring Canadian performers and Canadian artists and designers.
Right, and now you have a production coming up.
Yes, we do.
Tell us a little bit about that.
We've got a production coming up in less than 2 weeks, and so today I'm here and I'm speaking to you, but all in the back of my mind I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got this to do and this to do. So it's really crazy busy right now, but very, very exciting. We just started rehearsals on Sunday. The singers are absolutely phenomenal. Like I sat there and I thought, this is what it's all about. And it's going to be a spectacular show. We're doing a production of an opera called Rosemary, and it's really more a lot like a musical theater piece. just really lovely music. It's in English. It's very funny, and like it's this romantic comedy. It's a beautiful love story.
Well, tell us a little bit more about the plot line then. What can people expect?
It's very Canadiana. It's actually set in the Canadian Rockies. Part of the beginning of it is set in the Canadian Rockies, and you know, involves a French Canadian girl named Rose Marie, and she's in love with a character by the name of Jim Kenyon, who is a miner. And there's Mounties, there's murder. Actually, we have a spectacular group of native dancers that are coming to perform in a scene that takes place in front of Totem Pole Hotel. We have a native artist constructing a massive totem pole for our stage that is going to be just incredible. So lots of Canadiana elements to it. And then the second half takes place in Quebec City, where we will be featuring some very reputable Canadian designers that are from Montreal.
Can you maybe perhaps highlight some of those that people could...
Yeah, the two of the major designers that we've got on board that I feel so blessed to have on board that they accepted are Denis Gagnon and Marie St. Pierre, and they are from Montreal, and I actually was referred to them by Jeannie Becker herself, and she's huge advocates of them, and really feels that Canadian designers are really starting to take more risks these days in their fashions, and not be quite so conservative like everyone thinks us Canadians are.
We've got an interesting lineup of, you know, of singers. Maude Brunette, is that how you
Maude Brunet, yes.
Brunet?
She's actually from Montreal as well. And so she's perfect for the role, because we needed a girl that could play the role of a French-Canadian girl with a French-Canadian accent, and she is absolutely delightful.
And Todd Delaney?
Todd Delaney's from Toronto. He is playing her love interest, Jim, and he's a spectacular talent as well. Olivier Lacaire is actually from Montreal as well, and he plays Rosemarie's brother. So we've got two spectacular French Canadians playing the French Canadian roles, so it'll be very authentic.
Now, how did you come up with the name Wish Opera?
That name, my husband is a serial entrepreneur. He's been incredibly supportive, and I think has really played a big role in nurturing this entrepreneurial spirit in me. And he's got a holding company called Wish Group, and he's always been very passionate about nurturing dreams and passions in people. And so we actually were having brunch one day at Wish Cafe downtown Toronto, and I don't know if it exists anymore, but you know, we were talking about the opera company and what my dreams were, and I just said, you know, I think I want my opera company to be called Wish Opera. And I just love the sound of that, and it just invokes in me, like, you know, dreams coming true, and whatever you desire, you can have.
Well, that sounds really, really lovely. I mean, what a
Thank
journey
you.
that you've been on.
It's been pretty incredible.
Now, we're going to take a break, and Tanya, before we do, that means it's my good to know minute,
Okay.
and I know you've got a great tip for my audience.
I do. I would have to say the word that comes to mind is flow. And for me, that means really being in the moment, especially with my two little kids while I'm on this crazy journey, and just knowing in my heart and soul that everything is going to work out for the best and be absolutely spectacular.
Well, thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, more with Tonia Cianciulli, the Wish Opera. I'm Shannon Skinner, and I'm joined by Tonia Cianciulli, who is the founder and executive director of Wish Opera. And of course, we had a little teaser there during the break of what you might expect if you were to go out to Wish Opera's production of Rosemarie. What a fantastic voice that Jeanette MacDonald had.
Yeah, it's, you know, that's probably my favorite version of the movie. There's been a few versions of Rosemarie made into movies, Hollywood movies. And I've been listening to the YouTube clips, you know, for the last several months, and I just, when I hear Nelson Eddy sing to her, it's just like, oh, wouldn't it be so nice to have men serenading us like that today? The music is so beautiful. It really is beautiful.
So now, Wish Opera, tell me, in pulling this together, how have you been able to make a difference in the lives of others and other artists?
Well, I would have to say that we're giving opportunity to artists and singers that would not normally have opportunity to really get their work out there and get exposure and experience. And so I'm really passionate about nurturing emerging talents as well as established. But I know a lot of people that are participating in this production are very excited to be, you know, kind of exercising their creative legs and giving them a chance to show what they have on a stunning stage. So people are very excited to be part of it.
Now, is opera actually dying as an art? What are the trends in the opera world?
You know, there's a large audience of elder people, and so this is really, you know, it's my passion to really create a new following of opera and to really get young people interested in opera. And so I think that this whole fusion of the arts and contemporary modern look and feel will certainly appeal to a younger audience and make them want to give it a chance. And I know that when we had our launch concert last March, we had performers just singing a variety of famous arias that anyone would probably recognize, and we had them dressed in various Canadian designers. And we had a lot of people come and just say, I didn't think I would like opera at all, and I'm in love with it, and this is such a cool concept. And so I'm really confident that we'll be able to create a new following for opera, certainly.
Yeah, because when you often think of opera, or many people think of opera, they think of, well, it costs a lot of money to go out to an opera. So opera's not cheap, so
Right.
It's not necessarily accessible to the masses.
Right, and we're actually trying to make that more accessible as well by just really reasonably priced tickets. You know, so you're paying anywhere from $25 to $45, and you're coming and you're seeing world-class talent and top Canadian fashion designers and interior design. So we've been incredibly blessed with very talented artists of all mediums that are joining us for this.
What is your vision for Wish Opera? Where does it go from here? I mean, obviously you've got your production Rosemary coming up, and then you've got later in the year Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm so focused on Rosemary because it's next week, and I'm, you know, so detail oriented with that. But you know, my vision is that we will keep attracting this great talent and really carve out a place in Toronto and Canada for Wish Opera. There, you know, like I said, there's various other opera companies, but I think because of our niche that we are really working at developing a new audience of people that wouldn't normally go to an opera. And so, you know, it's really my vision to expand the audience, and eventually one day, you know, we'll be like a household brand like the Canadian Opera Company is.
How did you pull it off? I mean, how are you pulling this
Oh,
off?
God. I don't know. A lot of late hours, a lot of tears, a lot of stress, but you know, my passion really drives me, and I can't think of doing anything else. So I mean, I'm incredibly blessed with an amazing family, and I love my children dearly, and I spend a lot of time with them. And but you know, I'm very passionate about this too, and so I just really want to nurture that side of myself as well.
What has been the biggest challenges you've had to face in pulling this off? I mean, I know that you've had late nights. I got an email from you at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, very late nights right now.
Yeah.
I would say, you know, I would say just getting the word out there right now, because we're brand new, and I have to keep reminding myself to think big picture. So, you know, I'm confident that we are going to create a really great following, and you know, funding in the arts, it's difficult to get. So
At the best of times.
yeah. And so you know, the sponsors that we do have so far, we are so grateful to them, because without their help, this wouldn't be. So I'm confident it's coming together, though.
In you looking at running out and you know, attempting to get sponsorship and funding, I mean, why do you think there isn't such great funding for the arts? I mean, without the arts, what would our society be? Be boring.
Yeah,
So why isn't there more support than there is?
I really don't know. I mean, I guess some people just don't, you know, in their regular day-to-day life, they don't really stop and think about the value that it brings to people, and how it enriches their lives. And you know, that's something we're really trying to make people more aware of too, that it can enrich your life so much, and it's all about the experience of life, and experience the beauty of life and the beauty of opera and fashion, and just, you know, leaving theater inspired and wanting to break out and do something yourself too.
Now I have to ask you this question: what do you do to are there special techniques you do to for your throat, for your like your this is an instrument, you know? This is how you're living. I mean, it's incredibly,
you know,
powerful voices fascinate me.
You know, yeah, there are many voice exercises when I'm in training that I would do, and it's really it's a muscle, right? So it's like going to the gym. You have to be consistent, or the muscle, it's just not going to perform the way you want it to. So it's about repetition. And these days I'm not singing too much. I sing around the house to my kids. They love me singing the Disney classics, and so I'll, you know, do the operatic versions of those. But yeah, it's, you know, when you are performing regularly, it's very much about being consistent and doing those exercises over and over and over again, just to really make sure that those notes and the flexibility is in the voice.
Now, what has been your greatest blessing in your life?
Oh, so many. I would have to say my children. I look at them, and every single night I go in and I just sit there and I kiss them all over their face while they're sleeping, and I just look at them and I just think, it doesn't matter how stressed out I am or what's happening, I have them and I love them, and, you know, no matter what happens, they're with me. So I would have to say that's a pretty incredible blessing in my life.
Now, for people to get more information about Wish Opera, to read about it, to perhaps maybe donate or become a sponsor or come out to the production, they could find you at wishopera.ca.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And I know that you're on Facebook and you're also on Twitter.
We are. Our Twitter account's not that active right now. That's my fault. But yes, we're on Facebook and Twitter, and our website is pretty spectacular, just featuring all of the talents that we've got on board for this production.
It's a very cool website.
Thank you.
Yeah, no,
it's
really interesting.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff. Well, I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. And I wish your audience will come out and join us for Rosemary. It's on April 15th and 16th in the Convention Center on Front Street.
Well, thank you again. And I'll be talking to you in the very near future.
Thank you so much, Shannon.
Thanks for being on the show.